things out.
Do you have the Jack should know it by now.
Do you have the microphone set up for him? And
Well, Jack said he was going to record it.
Yeah, I think this will work. I'm trying to test it right now, you know.
Jenna said, do you want to sit on this side or this side? Which is better? If you're recording.
Yeah,
No, he's going to get in front.
Probably matter.
Yeah, I'll go on.
I don't know, I may not like it in front, and we might have to stop and trade.
Okay.
So.
All right, whichever way. Royce looks good.
Yeah.
He, you know.
So what do you want to really see today?
I don't know. What they said what you did was absolutely fascinating.
It won't be the same today.
How come? Because you don't remember?
I don't know where we were.
Yeah, we kind of got
back
lost.
roads I've never been on before.
They said you knew exactly where you were.
We found a cemetery you never saw before.
It's like where we're going out to 98.
Yeah, it's up
go back
to
this way?
Cornhusker, yeah, so you can go out that way, yeah.
Yeah, I found the most fascinating outhouse in a cemetery that, like you said, we never knew it was there. But the church I wanted to find, we didn't.
Well, maybe we'll find that today.
We will today, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going out.
Yeah, out to 70th and then, well, 84th, and then you can go up.
Go to 98th Street, I guess it is.
Whoops. A lot of them never look.
Wow, he sure did. They have the right of way?
This is
Are you okay back there?
job,
Yeah.
You know, I think everybody's house should be that color for at least once in a lifetime.
I thought pink was a better color.
Sometimes, well, there's just some strange colors that people paint houses.
Well, Raul had his house painted a strange color
Yeah.
at one time. What
Kind
was
of green, wasn't it?
that? Bluish.
Believe it now with the black trim. Whoever heard of black trim?
Depends on whether the paint is on sale or not at a bargain price.
That's right. That's, yeah.
Makes a big difference. They got a place here, you know, where you can bring leftover paint, and that's probably what he went, and they practically give it away. So.
I think that's what he told us when his house was that
that's-
one color, that was what was on sale.
Yeah.
So,
Well, black, he probably mixed all his paint together, all the leftover.
yeah.
Yeah, an old timer that both Jack and Raul and Royce, that Thelma Bay, that was 90-some years old, passed away.
Wow. 96,
Royce.
I think he said.
Royce still cut her lawn and shoveled her snow, and of course she paid well.
How old is Royce?
He's about a year younger. Well, let's see, he's probably 80. I don't think he's hit 90 yet. Probably 89.
I think he'll
Probably
be
hit.
89 this year, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. He looks, yeah, really good.
He does. Yeah.
Oops.
He can't see, he can't hear.
Too bad. And he's
But he can
driving.
fish.
Still drive.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully he had good aim when he pulled into the driveway this
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Since you were sitting there.
Yeah. And he stopped in time.
He just
Yeah, it'd been bad if we'd have come out and his car had been parked in the garage.
Well, Raul's girlfriend called me again last night.
Which one was that?
Bonnie, she didn't make it there.
Oh.
She said she was able to take a few steps yesterday. And she said, I just went back to bed and cried.
Oh.
And I had to get a kick. She said that Raul knew that he really cared for her. He said he'd almost felt like he was in love again. But he says, I don't dare let myself go, because that would be sin if I loved you.
That's what she told you?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she said he debated, and finally one day he got up enough courage and he called her and he said, I'd like to bring out a picture or some picture time looking at pictures of Rosie.
That was a good way to kind of tell her, no, that's funny.
He went out to this cowboy church, and there was just probably about a dozen there, and most of it was the band.
Uh-huh.
And then these two old ladies found out so they went out there.
I remember now.
And then they got into a fight over, well, that's my boyfriend. No, that's my boyfriend. And they split up, these two gals, for a month or so because they wouldn't speak to each other anymore.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Jack, I remember I came to that car wash one time.
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
should have had this car wash there. I forgot about that. And that other place, and I was talking about a pizza place. I think there was a chicken place over here.
Yeah, that's down probably about 2 miles, maybe 3.
Yeah. Came over here
Kentucky
and bought a whole
Fried,
bunch
yeah.
of chicken one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it wasn't pizza.
Yeah, Larry got chicken down there one time too. I guess Raoul must really like chicken.
How about you? Not so much.
Jane has no use for it.
Yeah.
She likes fish, she said.
Yeah, she loves shrimp and fish. That one fish that they had at Golden Corral last night I thought was good. I had a piece of that.
The deep fried
Yeah, I think it was. They said
white fish or
but they said it was like Louisiana
oh, okay.
whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know what they called it.
So
but
you,
deep fried.
you want
that
to
way,
see
yeah,
the
that
old
style.
places where Dad lived? There's no buildings there. And where Grandma or your mother lived,
Mm-hmm.
there's no buildings there.
Okay.
I can show you where she was born. I can show you where they were married.
Okay.
We can go down to the old 16, District 16. You were out there for a reunion, I guess.
Oh yeah, I remember being out there.
Well, the man of that couple passed away, so she sold the property. I don't know whether it was a white schoolhouse when you were out there or not, but to me they put different siding on. They've added two, and you wouldn't even know it's a schoolhouse except for the merry-go-round and the swing.
Yeah.
Merry-go-round swing's still there, huh?
Yeah.
No kidding.
When we were there, it was a house. I mean, they had.
It's a house now.
Yeah, they were doing it.
And I don't know, is Ithaca on your agenda?
Sure
Do you
we
want to see Don, or I have? Okay, all
I don't.
right.
I mean, I don't.
I know it's it's
We'll
okay.
probably run into a time crunch too.
That's how many hours you got?
We figured if we left around 2,
Oh,
that wouldn't be
up
bad.
until 2. Okay. All right.
Now we went. We did this years and years ago, and you probably weren't even living out here, but we went to those places, and there were still buildings
Right.
on those properties, and we went in the house that was by
Yes.
where the creek was,
By Wall Creek in
the
Memphis.
side of it, or out back. I think it was.
Is that house still there?
No.
No.
You wouldn't know there was ever a building then. I
Huh.
can show you the culvert where we had Marge in and built the fire and rescued her.
We went in that house, and the squatters had been living in it. It was
Yes.
all junk.
Now, we were talking when we were going back last night, and I wanted to know, not about out here now, right now, but more, I was trying to get in my mind the time, how old, when
was in probably 1962. And
So I was
Judy was born in 48. So 58, that's 10, and 4 more, that's 14. So
Okay.
she was in high school, right?
And
Yeah.
then Jack, did you live at Mom's for a while, or
Yeah.
did you live at Uncle Jim's?
No, I lived with Mom's, grandma's.
Okay. And then did you graduate from Wheaton North?
Great Lane,
Right Lane, Lloyd.
But he had gone back and
Right
lived
Lane.
Where are we going?
We're gonna go out across Cornhusker out here.
Oh, okay.
and then we're going to head east until we get to 98th Street. Is that right?
Yeah.
Almost Waverly.
Yeah.
But Jack,
It'll
in the
be
mean,
before Waverly, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But in the meantime, Jack and Joan had moved out to Pennsylvania. Jack was out there for a while. And then
Okay,
he
were
came.
you? That's what I was trying to remember because Don, he told us Don went to Wheaton Academy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what he would sneak out and stuff.
Yeah, he had orders that absolutely make no contact with me.
Hmm.
And we were out on Roosevelt Road in Sinclair at the time, but he did make contact twice. That was when he didn't it. One time he was sneaking away and he ran and he clipped his neck under his neck on a clothesline and got a nice bruise there.
And then, all right. So, why did we have it in mind that maybe you lived with Jim and Grace for a short time? You didn't.
No, he didn't want me to live there because he thought it would be too much of a conflict, brother. He and a brother,
So, okay.
Well, you probably lived with Grandpa and Grandma, didn't you, for a while?
Oh yeah, I lived
Back
there.
in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So when did you come back from Pennsylvania?
I
How
think I
old
was
were you?
either 15 or I was 16 because I had my license. It might be this turn to the left up here. I'm not positive if that's the one, but it looks like it.
To the left,
Yeah.
I have to look and
Here,
see.
what does this sign say?
it says
98.
8.
Okay,
That's the
that's
one
it
we
then,
want,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, we picked
Because I
nine.
was a sophomore in college in '62. So that's what I remember.
Now,
and-
Judy had her opportunity to go to college because she went down to Normal for a semester. And she was an excellent student
It's very smart.
and
Yeah.
excellent musician. She could have had a good future in that.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't have the car wash.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Dusty country roads.
Okay.
no.
So and what was it we were asking? Was Raul 3 years younger than you?
3 years younger, right?
And when you were little, then, I mean, as he got a little bit bigger, did you guys hang out together as?
No,
Never?
I know. Not really. He would tag along when I would go over to Grandpa Bono's.
Oh, yeah.
That was, a mile away. Irene says from the kitchen window they'd watch every day, and then especially weekends. Pretty soon a head would show up over the hill, and then about 10 steps behind would be another head.
Aw.
And we tried to go over there on the weekends because I was shopping for groceries. If we went along, why, we each got a box of animal crackers.
Ah. Now, that was Grandpa Rex?
Grandpa Bono.
Oh, it was Grandpa Bono.
Grandpa
Okay.
Rex lived in Ithaca.
Oh, so you didn't see them as often?
No, he would come out basically to fish.
Oh. Well, now, did Grandma Bono, did she speak English?
Yes, Grandma and Grandpa Bono both spoke English very fluently.
So, okay. And so was Mom born, and the girls, they were born here in America.
That's right.
But with Dad's family, was Dad born here?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
The only one born outside of the United States was Minnie, and she was born on the ocean on board ship.
Oh, okay. And was she the oldest girl?
She was the oldest girl. Her hubby died and left her, at least 10 kids.
Wow.
Probably the oldest was around 12, and that was Dee's mother.
Oh.
So I've never been able to find out. Anybody can tell me, what caused it. Somebody said he had a big growth on the side of his neck, and he refused to seek treatment or something like a goiter, and finally it took him down. Dee's mother had to go to work, and the boys had to go to work, do what they could at that early age.
Well, now who was Dee? Was Dee and Don?
Yeah, that's still
Was
good.
it Esther? That was their mother?
That's right, that was Esther. She was Minnie's daughter.
Okay. Esther was Minnie's daughter. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought on that. But Minnie had 10 kids?
Probably around 10 kids. She was pregnant at the time her hubby died off.
Wow. And then there were 2 other children in Dad's family that died?
That's probably right, and they're buried at Indian Mound Cemetery.
Yeah, I think we went out there one time and found some gravestones.
He also, their first, Grandpa Rex's dad's dad, their first child was born and died in Germany.
Oh, okay. Huh. But then it was Grandma Rex who never really spoke English that much, and that she was never really adjusted to life here in a way. I mean, that was...
Oh, well.
No?
No, only when she was losing her mind did she go back in her mind to Germany.
Oh.
While she was here in America, she didn't have time to lose her mind because she had all those kids to take care of.
Yeah.
And not only that, but if she did have a spare minute, then she had to help on the farm.
Yeah. And Dad was the youngest.
Dad was the youngest, right.
Wow.
And he always told the tale that he never did learn that she was left-handed.
Oh.
They always sat around the table in order of their birth, and he would make a smart aleck remark figuring he was safe, and here would come that left hand, because he was sitting next to her.
And Dad was left-handed, wasn't he?
No.
He wasn't?
No.
Was anybody in our family left-handed?
Isn't Larry?
Larry is, that's right, and Judy is, and my Steve is left-handed.
Judy left-handed?
I thought she was, but I'm not sure now.
And then
Tommy's left-handed.
And then Tommy is left-handed in Suzanne's family. And I thought Dad was for some reason. No.
Jack, have we gone by the Sundin place yet? This is it up here, isn't it?
I'm not sure. It doesn't look familiar.
No, it does. I guess it does.
It's a new house. No, that's not it. No.
A lot of trees.
We might have passed it already, but it could be at the top of that hill coming up. 3 hills or 2 hills.
Or that church is coming up.
Waverly.
Maybe the church will come up. Yep. See the
Yeah,
sign there,
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem? We lost that yesterday.
Yeah.
And this is where...
This is where the lady that was the organist yesterday at the funeral, she and her hubby lived there. And he picked up mail and took it from, I think, Chicago to Denver. And he passed away about 3 years ago with throat cancer. A real good friend of Raul's.
This is Sundin's right here. The house is gone now. Yeah.
Now tell me...
That was his boy's house there. This, there used to be a big 2-story house here. They sold the place and then remodeling it caught fire. And that's it.
Wow.
Oh, I'm so glad that church is still here.
Well, tell me about Sundins. Who are the Sundins?
They were just,
people, friends of Raul's?
they were friends of Raul's. then not only visit, but when he first came away, they let him come out and help run the tractor and equipment on the farm. And the boys, Sundin brothers, were going to make it rich, and so they speculated on the futures market and lost everything.
That's why I
And they
know the
were
name.
very, of course, she gets so well known as an organist that she gives lessons and gets paid for it, and really got a name for herself. He was always one of the greeters at the church. He let his beard grow and always wore a red uniform or shirt or something, so it looked like Santa Claus.
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
Very likable guy.
And they were talking about him that he would have candy and give it to the kids when they came in at church, greeting them and stuff. A lot, or when they left.
That was Sundin did that. They had another guy by the name of Pruitt at church that always carried a pocket full of mints. And he acted as an usher.
And what was this church?
Rosemont. Originally it was Havelock.
Oh.
Havelock Christian Missionary Alliance. We think that this is probably the road that we took when Dad moved from Memphis to Beatrice, and we had Alice Chalmers tractor and a hay wagon behind it, sometimes two. And when we moved, well, he would stack those full, and then I would take off. You know, it's probably a 60-mile trip in that tractor at 5 miles an hour. I think I stopped in Havelock and stayed overnight with Royce, and then took off the next day. So there must have not been much traffic, because I wouldn't have been allowed on the highways.
Well, were you close with Royce?
Oh, for a while, probably a good part of a year, I stayed with him in the Havelock after I left the farm, and took a 16-week aviation maintenance course in Lincoln, and rode a bike 6 miles one way to school, back. Big surprise, because when I came, I stayed at a rooming house, and the first night, why, they took me up to where the bedroom was, and here, already in bed, was an old man about 55 years old, and they said, "This is your half of the bed."
Oh my goodness. Oh.
So I didn't think that was very good arrangement, so Frank and Esther said, "You can come and live with us."
Yeah.
So Royce and I, we used to sneak out at night.
How old were you?
I was probably around 18.
Okay. Then I read in that that anniversary book where Royce wrote a little story about how he and Raul used to get hemp
Oh, okay.
and smoke it in the garage or something, try to smoke it and that, and I thought, that's funny. Why did Marge, did she go and live in Claytonia, was it? Or in high school or something? She lived with somebody?
Raul and Marge both went to school in Ceresco,
Oh, maybe it was Ceresco.
and they lived at Uncle John Rexilius and his daughter Ophelia. They lived right at the edge of Ceresco.
Well, I remember her kind of telling a story about how, I don't think it was a relative, where she had to clean or something. That was kind of her room and board. Is that?
That sounds like that would be Ophelia.
Maybe, okay. And she was in high school then?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't realize that Otelia was kind of that she was a relative. So, and why did she have to go live there in Raul to go to high school? I mean, was it so far away, or was it money?
Well,
And what
didn't have bus routes. Memphis had a 2-year high school. Ithaca had 2 years. and probably less than 10 kids in high school in each of those towns. So Raul claims that he rode with me to Wahoo when I drove to high school. So rather than pay somebody to haul Marge and Raul, it was cheaper to, maybe Mom needed a rest from them, I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
Now from right here, where's the nearest little town?
Probably Waverly, back to where what? And then there's a few miles this way.
Oh, here comes the church, maybe, and
This
the
is-
cemetery.
Best of my knowledge, this is where Herman and Elizabeth Kaufman are buried.
Oh,
At least this is where they went to.
and Elizabeth and her husband.
Right, Herman
And
and
that was her son you met yesterday too, Don. You remember him? Yeah.
He was an excellent baseball player. I think he would have made the major leagues, but his folks wouldn't let him even pick up a baseball on a Sunday.
Wow. Should we get out and look?
I've never been there. There's other cemeteries
Yeah.
that probably have more meaning.
I wonder if that was why Herman was so
Herman,
I mean, in a way, sports with his sons or with Don. He was,
Herman was brought up under very strict conditions, but Herman also had a brother that had a personality like Raul, and that played the guitar and sang in quartets, and, very active, and also mother's favorites. And they just never got along. I think Kathleen, the oldest one, who passed away,
was like him.
very much like her dad.
Yeah. Huh.
Although
Suzanne, can you believe gravel road and it goes forever in every direction and all you see is farmland?
Yeah.
Well, now, who went to Bethany Church? Anybody? I mean, did,
just maybe Herman and Elizabeth.
okay. And, okay. This is so foreign to me because I don't remember Nebraska at all,
Right.
except coming back to visit, of course, and that was a big deal. But I mean, as far as my upbringing was so different from all of you because of being in the town, city. Yeah, Mom thought it was a city. She never drove.
No, it was a city.
Yeah, compared
She
to.
never, did she drive in Nebraska and then didn't drive when you
Yeah.
had to
He
leave?
had an accident one time, and then that was the end of it.
Oh,
Couldn't drive anymore.
yeah. I remember one time she got in the car. She didn't have a license, and she drove me to school
Oh.
at lunchtime because I was so upset about something. I don't know who was home at the time, but I had lost a tooth or something, and they were teasing and whatever. And I was going to be late, and I cried, and I didn't want to go back, and she got in the car and drove me.
Where she still continue straight.
Okay.
Wow, look at this. How would you like to live in that little house there? Out in
Just-
the country.
And just think how far away you are from anything.
Yeah.
I just think of the days when they didn't have cars.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Horse and buggy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, we've driven a half hour already.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Wow.
don't think I've ever been this way, so that might be interesting to see where we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of reminds me.
I looked at this, and it said the gas I have will give me 100 miles.
Oh, okay.
Whether that's right or not,
That's your
I don't
Look
know.
at how old the trees are. I
But,
mean, they look old.
but I'm down to
We should have
below
gotten
a
gas.
quarter.
Why didn't we
I
think?
know, what in
We
the
might
world?
have to stop some
This is
farmers
kinda
buy
like
some.
where-
Yeah, there's no gas station.
she said, where do we get gas? We can't buy gas in Memphis. We can't buy gas in Ithaca.
Nothing.
Okay.
Well, that's the Ashland.
Farm.
Would be the closest.
And then look at the rows of trees that, you know, were planted on purpose probably. They'll give them shade because they didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Never seen this road before. Law must have turned. That's all right. I don't know where we're going pretty much.
All right, so start from and tell about your schooling. I mean, where did you go to school for District 16 or whatever that was for Gray Elementary School?
8 years of school at 16. One teacher, all 8 grades, usually around 30 pupils.
Uh-huh.
We were lucky to have a teacher by the name of Mildred Rogers, and we were just exposed to everything. She made everything interesting. Took time with those that lagged behind, and
Wow. Now, did she have? I mean, how was she paid? Did the like Little House on the Prairie?
we gotta stop here.
Look at that.
Dead end.
Stop here. We gotta think.
Yeah.
We don't want to go to Ashland, so we'll go. I think we better turn left. Okay. No one.
You think?
Yeah. I think we better. Little Salt, never heard of it, but that's all right. Yeah, she was paid by the month. She lived.
Did she live with someone? I mean, a student.
Town over there.
Wow. Look at this little house, how it's fallen down. Slower, Lloyd.
I know.
Slower. Oh, and then a new house behind. Oh, like 10 miles. Look at that barn falling down.
Oh, wow.
I know that one of the requirements was that she had to stay overnight at each pupil's home, and she probably lived at home because she lived in Memphis, which would have been about 4 miles away. When the weather got bad, then I remember she stayed at Dutch Miller's next to us, and Dutch would always give her a horse to ride to school because school was a mile away.
And she was undoubtedly unmarried.
Right. She's unmarried. She knew who she was going to marry. She picked out a grocery owner's son.
And did she marry him?
She did.
And then, so when you finished 8th grade, so did you ride a horse to school sometimes? No.
From then I went, the neighbor, Fred Nornberg, had a daughter, and he says, she's got to go to high school. Closest one is Memphis, 3 miles away. If I buy a car and pay for the gas, will you drive and take her to school every day, and that way you can go to high school also.
Ah.
So it did. We had an old Model T, and we arranged so that during the day it was parked inside, so that in the garage, commercial garage, so it always started. And then we only had to walk about 2 blocks to the school. I had Memphis at 9th and 10th grade and together, and the same man taught every subject. We had didn't have enough for a baseball team. We had enough for basketball, but
Did you play sports?
Is that Ceresco over there, Dad?
yeah, that is Russell.
Okay, all right.
So I was wondering whether to go this way to 77. I guess
We went out down 84th yesterday.
we did yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's go straight. I'll see some country I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And we gotta watch for a zoo because you run into all kinds of animals. But
Did you like that Nornberg girl?
Wonder why they have,
No.
wonder why they have so many horses.
Yeah, they've got a lot of horses there.
They might board them there. It looks like they had a horse trailer too, so
Yeah.
maybe they train them.
We didn't have any indoor practice facilities for basketball or a gym of our own, so twice a week the coach would put us in his car and he'd drive to Ithaca, which was probably about 10 miles away, and then we would practice at their gymnasium. So in order to sharpen us up, why he measured how high up the basketball hoop was and made a mark on the side of the schoolhouse. We had the best passing team in the league, but we couldn't make any passes. And then the Ithaca coach was impressed, I guess, with my abilities to guard the basket, so he convinced me that I ought to come and we'd have a championship team. So my folks, I was insane, and the folks agreed to let me do that. And then when we come in, Dad bought me a big pony. Well, after 2 miles on the first day, the pony wore out, so I had to get off and walk and lead the pony. And we finally made it to school. Then I thought, well, it'd be easier to walk. So between a bicycle and walking, we made it. Sometimes if I'd go the first 3 miles, I'd stop and then hide my bicycle in the cornfield, and then I'd get out on the raw highway and hitchhike.
Yeah.
There was a gal that worked at the bank, and I knew what time she went by every day, so she usually stopped and picked me up. But going home, I had to walk 7 miles.
Wow. Wow.
And that was 2 years. That was the second year of high school. We had baseball,
Slow down here. I wanna look at this.
basketball, track.
Look at this.
70th.
Yeah, we could have come out 70. We got to remember that next time. I know where we're at pretty much now.
What's that house? Do you remember that house? Was it a school or?
I don't know. It was probably a school, but I don't know. Before my day. Wouldn't that be nice if that had a tape recorder and you could go in there and
Oh.
Yeah.
get the history of?
Who lived there and what? Yeah.
So in the winter time, then I got to stay with Grandpa Rex. He spoke German. I spoke English. And he prepared the meals. Every meal was, we had a ring of sausage, or I guess that's what you'd call it. And then we had bread and goose grease. That was it. And then they decided that this was during the cold weather. Then they decided, well, maybe I ought to move across to stay with Minnie, his daughter. So I stayed with her. I heard more cuss words that I'd never heard before in my life.
Really? In German.
No, in English, from her boys.
Oh.
And with no dad, you know, they.
Ran wild probably. Look at that.
So then they decided I'd go over to Aunt Elmy's. Because playing basketball, we got in late at night, and Minnie wanted her house all secured. So, but Elmy had that rooming house, so, and she was the cook.
Yeah.
Meals improved, and every game that I had when I came home, I went upstairs to bed. There would be old iron that she had heated in the stove, wrapped in a towel. So I would stay there until the weather broke and I could walk. In the last 2 years, I'd saved my money all running, usually working on the road with bulldozers and so on. And saved enough money to buy a car and to pay for the gas. I solicited riders to go along, and they paid me so much a week.
Look at that in the windmill.
Wahoo was 14 miles away, and probably went out of my way another 10 miles just to pick up riders. That doesn't say who that is.
Look at that. What's that little place back there with all the little windows?
Hard to say what that would be.
Double-decker chicken coop.
Yeah, usually
Yeah,
with that many windows, it's usually indicates they raise poultry. There's a good old bulldozer like I used to run. here and turn there. Would you see that, Rex? What are you talking about?
That's 77 up ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the water there.
Where? Oh yeah.
This is getting in the area where we got endangered species. I see that in the paper today that they got 350 beetles that they're protecting. And,
Beetles.
yeah, beetles. Earth bearing, they got to have soil that's salty.
Yeah.
That's why they got Little Salt Creek Road and so on. And, University of Nebraska's got, professors, students, and they want more.
Look at that one.
They want more land now for those 350 beetles,
Oh my land.
and they're learning how to, what would you say, capture a pair or two and then bring them into the lab and harvest the larvae and impregnate them and
Oh my goodness.
want to increase.
Yeah, keep the species going.
How
Do
would
you know what
go
town
out
that
and find
is?
those?
Fresco, that's where we're aiming for gas.
All right, good.
Isn't that funny that you're out here in one of these?
There's one gas station. That's it.
Okay.
In all this area.
Wow. Is Jack?
Wildlife management. Boy, Jack, they almost named that after you.
Jackson Memorial Wildlife Management Area.
Open to hunting and fishing.
Hunting and fishing here.
Huh.
Well, I wonder why the worms.
What worm?
That they're not having, that Roy said that last year, and
Yeah.
that they used to get so many.
You see, it used to be maybe it didn't Wheaton, but when it rained, why?
Yeah, you'd have lots of worms
Yeah, they
come
come
out.
out on the blacktop.
Yeah.
When we first went there, but
I wonder what's happening to them.
Still too cold.
well, let's see, we had the drought, so that means the worms go down deeper.
They just don't, yeah. But Royce was saying before you came up that, yeah, or maybe you heard him, that last year that he and Raul would go out and they'd get like 500 or something, and
That was in
Or
April
two.
or May though,
so it's a little too early. But he said that maybe it was last year, he said, and he wondered about this year that there's not any worms. But probably too early and they've gone down deeper.
When I stayed with Royce, that was when he started dating his wife.
Well, did Aunt Marge, that's because Suzanne's here, did she introduce you to Joan?
Yes. Yeah, she's to blame for Joan, and she's introduced me to Raul
To Rosalie?
to Rosalie.
And she interfered a little bit with Jim and Grace. Not a whole lot though, but I remember taking a picture of Jim up to Grace's dorm room, and I had signed it "Love Jim" and put it
That
on her.
must be it. It was like a mobile.
I wrote the note. I said, and you could tell it was my. I mean, I was probably in 6th or 7th
I got
grade.
a big
and I mean,
eating place up on the hill there that used to be a big eating place. But it closed the doors the first
Look at
year.
these little houses.
This is where Raul and Marge stayed and went to.
A little more expensive
Yeah.
here.
Yep.
Yep.
Even higher than Wheaton.
Yeah, they can charge what they want since it's the only one. Oh, it's
Oh, but-
$3.54.
Regular. Oh, that's
I
cheaper
saw-
than Reed.
I saw the
The
$3.89.
diesel.
Yeah, about
Oh,
10
yeah.
years ago,
Frisco.
some guys bought 13 acres and there was no improvements. And then they put the barn and restaurant up, but I'll bet they got their money back for the 13 acres just selling to the gas company here.
Yeah.
They weren't making any money. And it must have cost a fortune to heat it because the ceilings were, well, there were no ceilings. It was just where the roof ended.
I don't know whether you want them down just a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting warmer.
Have a little air.
Ceresco. So did Mom and Dad live ever in Ceresco or around?
No.
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 So you just went to school.
Yeah,
Did any of the relatives live in Ceresco?
Well, Dad's brother John had a big family, and they stayed around this Ceresco and Swedenborg area.
Okay. I don't remember him, John. I don't think.
Probably not.
He's a little short guy.
Did he move to? They didn't move. Who moved to California? Dutch?
Yeah. Emil, Dutch.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that moved in. Of course, that was a big move when Frank went to Lincoln. That was like leaving Nebraska.
Yeah. Oh, well, and I remember when we were here, when Royce came over, and he said people were mad at him.
Alright. That'll work. So it's Ceresco.
No, Ceresco.
Oh, Ceresco?
Ceresco.
This is where our family doctor was, Dr. Noyes.
Huh.
Noyes. So that was probably a good haul for.
Yeah.
But originally horse and buggy,
Uh-huh.
and he practiced here a good number of years. He was the one that when I had my tonsils out, I waited until he got down by my feet, and I let him have it. I hit him in the face with my feet and knocked his glasses off. After that, I had a nurse on each arm, and my mother holding my head down and Dad holding my feet, and I got some kind of a shot of. I never did like that doctor.
He probably didn't like you very much after that.
And then when I was playing Tarzan in the barn and run that big sliver through my arm here, he got even with me because he pulled it out without giving any painkiller at all. And he didn't get it all. And I went with a sliver in that arm for probably 25 years till it disintegrated.
Wow.
Dad had his tonsils out right after I had mine out, same day.
Oh, really?
The only reward was that we had ice cream at home. And to keep me entertained and confined, where they bought one of these old-fashioned goldfish bowls and one fish.
You have to tell your kids that.
Yeah.
They think when they complain. How old were you?
Well, I would have been probably around 5 years old.
Oh, so you were just little.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had 2 goldfish when I was about 4. Could have been 5.
Mm-hmm.
And one night my mom's changing the water. Maybe I was helping. But we had a sink.
Mm-hmm.
And there was water in it, but the drain, here's the sink against the wall, the drain just came down and then went out a tube through the wall and into a little ditch only about like that out there.
Right outside.
And both those fish went down that thing. And man, I started crying and upset, and so we had to look, and we went out there. I don't even remember if they had a light or anything to see, but we went out there. Never did find them. I was very upset about that.
That's what Stephen had a fish, and I was dusting in his room where the fish tank was, and by accident pulled out the tube that hooked the, I don't know,
Filter or something.
filter, yeah, and didn't realize I did it. And he went upstairs after he got home from school to check on his fish. There's no water in the tank, and the fish was dead. I felt so bad.
Huh. How often did you see a doctor? I mean, did you get shots or anything like that?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
The shots back in those days,
Yeah, weren't that
we were
many.
vaccinated for smallpox, but they did that in the school.
Oh.
I remember the girls especially, they said, okay, now someday you're going to grow up to be a young lady. Would you want the scar mark on your arm or on your leg?
Oh. That's interesting.
I think we'll go north, and then the first road that we can, we're going to
Go back east?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll get into territory where I know something about.
Yeah, but this is interesting.
I think that, well, I'm trying to say, I don't remember a nurse coming around. I think the teacher probably had to give the shots.
They might have had a school nurse.
They had, that might be a school.
We had one when we went to Whittier and that, yeah.
Did anybody else in the family have to have their tonsils out? And how come why'd they take your tonsils out?
Well, at that time it was
Just
5
they
hours,
just did it?
and the doctors needed something to keep them busy.
Huh.
And so, like nowadays, where the doctors promoted carpal tunnel, why?
Oh.
Back then, everybody had to get their tonsils out.
Because I never had my tonsils out.
Tonsils and adenoids.
Yeah, adenoids.
But that's
You
all
didn't
I
have your-
remember. in
No,
music.
I didn't have mine.
No.
But it kind of is like braces nowadays. Every child
Has to have
has
braces.
to have braces for something.
I never had my tonsils out.
Probably right around in this area. It's where
Ashland.
Rawl and Marge.
Right
the
here,
road,
Lloyd.
you know.
This road?
And then slowly.
See the crosses up by the water tower there?
I've never
yeah.
been this way.
Boy, are they going to be in trouble
Is
when
this the way
hits
you wanted to
internet.
Yeah.
I mean, this road?
Right. From now on, I'll go by the intersection signs from. They start with A and go on up, A, B, C, D, E, each mile.
Okay.
And then the other way, it's 1,000, 1,100, 1,200.
Right, turn the heat down if it's on.
There's no heat, it's turned off.
Okay, because
Why don't I
it's really
turn
bad.
it down? If this gets too chilly for you, let me know. I'm not turning the air conditioning on, but I'm turning
Vent.
it on
down,
and
yeah.
opening it up on low temperature.
Well, that's a nice little looking house and land.
See, when I was a kid, that wasn't there.
Yeah. that looks nice. So this is
Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
So did you have an interest in like mechanics and machines and stuff from the time you were little? Okay. Did Grandpa or?
Grandpa Bona didn't have any boys. He had 4 girls.
Yeah.
When I came along, that was the boy he was waiting for. And he had a blacksmith shop at home. He had time to teach me the things while Dad was busy trying to support the family.
Huh.
So
That's where it started. A little
that's where
bit.
it started, and it just seemed like if something went wrong with machinery, it was just natural to fix it. Rawl didn't have that ability.
No, totally different. Huh.
Of course, Grandpa didn't spend much time with Rawl either. By then, I think Mom had enough kids so that Rawl was more important helping her.
Ah.
Because there was always stuff to bring in to cook the meals with. And,
Yeah.
Chicken next to ring.
That's right. And
Yeah.
his revival services with the chickens. Remember, he had to have revival service every spring when we got a new batch of chickens.
That's right.
They probably had Sunday school for the little ones.
Yeah.
Place out there.
Yeah. Somehow,
Slow
I
down a
get
little
the
bit.
impression that we're not going straight east, man. So I'm trying to figure out. I don't want to end up in Ashland.
It curves a little to the north.
Yeah, all right. One year,
Look at the horses out there. Slower. A little bit slower.
in order to keep the chickens warm, why they covered the floor, our bedroom, and we had the chickens upstairs weren't in our bedroom. The little
Really?
chicks for probably a couple weeks. But usually they had their own brooder house.
That windmill is all broken down. You gotta go was right above us.
So this is territory. It's to the west of the area that I was raised in.
Okay, should I be going slower here, or are we going more to a destination?
Probably more to a destination.
Yeah.
Probably about like this is fine. Well, our pizza company missed that one.
Well, did
What
the
was it?
folks?
Say the pizza company missed that one. It's a dead animal.
Yeah, it looked like a huge raccoon or something.
Oh, I missed it.
Big.
I didn't see it.
Ooh. Here's District
Oh, 45.
45.
Oh, I remember this one yesterday coming back. We come by this when they were building a bridge here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna get to turn.
So we
Well, you have to go. You can go around it, but you go off to the right.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Then we got to get a little bit more
To the north.
to the left.
This is a nice house. Look at that. Yeah. Wow, you just built. And over there too, across the street was a nice house.
15, 18.
And look at did Mom and Dad, did they have cows?
Have what? Collie?
Cows.
Cow? They sure did. We
A
had-
lot or just enough
That
to?
was our income. We probably had at least 10 that we had to milk every day,
Ah.
morning and night. Hogs, he had just enough probably to provide for meat. Sheep, not interested in sheep.
No. But chickens and cows?
Chickens, right? That was always
Part of the-
nice to have a chicken because when you saw the preacher coming down the road, the first thing he did was go out and catch a chicken
Yeah.
so that she could have. Boy, they ate too.
And she was a good cook.
I think that was the preacher's golden corral in the early days.
Right.
We just sit there and think, boy, I wonder what that tastes like. I never had that piece of meat in my life.
They're not working today.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they'll be down here next to the truck drinking coffee.
Oh.
It's no different than Illinois.
I was trying to figure why that's right. We went by that zoo, didn't we? And then we
Mhm.
ended up coming this way.
Yeah,
So where that zoo was
that was Paulus's
1100
place. Yeah.
or 1300. Well,
Did they have hired men to help? Ever?
yes. Yeah, we had John and Daisy Meese that helped when we lived in Memphis. And then a couple of summers we had, they usually come about harvest time, which is 1st of July, when the wheat was ready. But a couple of summers, some old guy, to me he was old then, but he was coming walking down the road from Memphis. He was, well, we called him a bum or a hobo.
Mm-hmm.
And he came and worked for us. And then, I want to get that sign if I can.
Yeah, it's
A.
A.
All right, what's the other? 14.
14.
Okay, we're still. We didn't come up that way, so.
They had an A400 on it.
We were at D11, I think, where the farmhouse was.
That's what I think so too.
So it's a ways away.
Yeah.
How far away did Elizabeth live from Mom and Dad?
Well, the closest when they lived down to Memphis for a couple of years, and that was probably about 3 miles away.
Huh.
Uh,
Were they more prosperous than Mom and Dad in their farming? Did they do
I
better?
would say yes, they had better.
How many children did Elizabeth have?
4.
She had 4.
2 girls and 2 boys.
Dad was not a up with barbed wire. They shoot the dog. Look at the boy that you're making. And as far as trying to finer edges like a finished carpenter compared to a rough carpenter.
Right.
Dad was a rough carpenter.
And he wasn't a very good businessman, was he? He was.
This is long. He was a sucker for every sale.
Yeah.
He liked to experiment. Once he bought stock in the Omaha Rubber Company. Insurance policies that he shouldn't have. The very fact that he quit his mail route when he was in the teenage years. That was steady work and steady pay and a steady retirement plan. But I think he quit that so he could enlist in the service.
Who, Dad?
Yeah.
Did he?
They tried to get in at least 3 different times. You'd have to go to Fremont, volunteer to do your paperwork, and twice that they went, they must have had the cholera or some disease going through because things were quarantined and they wouldn't let them sign up. Send them back home. Well, then the third time they went, we got to sign up, but the war was over.
Well, that looks like a nice barn and stuff.
I'd like to get over to
That looks clean and nice.
I'd like to get over to the north a little bit on the next one.
Okay.
Somehow I got the impression that this must end up hooking up with Westwood grass or loading other gas.
Well,
There's
did,
a road here in the house.
well, none of Dad's family. Did they go through the 8th grade? And was that about it? I mean,
It seems to me Dad got I think we got through 6. I could have that mixed up with somebody else.
and what about Mom? 8th, maybe?
Go straight.
Yeah, we'll go straight, and then I think
We'll go north.
yeah, well, we missed our road with the zoo on it somehow.
Shoot.
I think that was a north-south road.
Yeah, let's see what this sign says here.
11.
11, okay, that's good. And A, okay,
11 and A.
that's worth a try. But 11 ought to be in Lutheran Church Road, I think.
Yeah.
And A, and we got to get up to about C, I think, before we get to that.
Are they like section lines? Are they
Yes.
a mile apart?
Yes.
Okay.
See, the first year Dad and Mom's married life, well, they lived in Utah. But nobody has ever been able to tell me where they rented land in Utah. All I know is at night they used to go for a walk, and there was a railroad tracks or railroad trestle, and they would walk and sit out there on the trestle because Mom told stories, or Dad did, about having to get up, and get off of that trestle before the train came. Why they were in Utah, who rented them the land, nobody knows. And then I come to where their first farm was.
Who is this?
It's on the-
Hello. Hi, Gary.
Today, I took a picture on vinyl going into Janesville this morning in case you need to see it. So remember what it looks like.
Yeah, we don't
Okay.
want to hear this.
Okay, you're gonna send me a picture?
Well, Steve Egg was flying up to Janesville, and I took here on vinyl. I took a picture of runway 32. I thought maybe
Can
you
you
would
change it to your cell phone?
forget what it looks like.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, it would start my heart. Yeah.
When I get home, I'll send it to you. Nothing
Exactly.
gets ripped.
Exactly.
Look at
what
Oh,
I'm
those.
saying.
Slow down, Lloyd. Slow down. Look at the cows out there. Oh, that was a
Oh, well that's
hay
good.
thing.
You gotta fly.
I saw that
I'm
this
out-
night. I
I'm
thought that's a
out
big
the country.
cow.
I wonder if
To the
that's
northeast
the story that
of,
Grandma would tell about
Lincoln,
being
Nebraska.
pushed off
And yeah, I think I could drive 50 miles in every
With
direction.
Gertrude?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Nothing
the
but
other story
farm
Grandma always
fields
told
and
there
dirt
too.
roads.
Oh,
And
yes.
What
it's
was
just
the other
amazing.
one?
It just goes forever in every
So,
direction.
I'm trying to think.
What was it?
If you didn't have gas or eggs or milk, it would take you hours to get to some place to buy it.
Rex,
It's amazing.
do you remember the story
Dilution.
Mom used to tell about when she was little and how she would,
Yeah, we're out of range in this part of the.
yeah, thankfully,
Yeah.
what she was kind of treated as her father's son and the hard work she had to do, but she was in charge of the little. She and Elizabeth and with Gertrude, and they went for a walk. Or what? How did that story go?
I don't know. They were.
And the neighbors, some boys or
No, I
something.
thought it was two other girls.
Girls, and
Tricked them or
they were kind of bullies or something. And Gertrude,
they pushed Gertrude off the bridge
Road.
into the creek.
No, I don't.
you know, remember that? She
We'll
used to
have to
tell
ask
that
Jenna.
story.
We love to hear her tell that story.
Yeah, she tells stories, and then she got in trouble. I mean, she got in trouble for it
Yeah.
in Spain.
Because they weren't supposed to be where they were or something, and then Gertrude got all scratched up and cut up on her
That
face.
sign
And,
here.
oh, there's the Zion.
Zion Lutheran.
Zion Lutherans, we want to go left then.
It
Oh,
says 611.
yeah.
You want to go left?
Yeah, we'll go left.
C600.
It's 2 miles.
What was the other story we might turn into?
And when she had to sleep with her grandma, and she never moved, that's how she learned to be so quiet in bed, because she'd get in bed and would never,
Oh.
that'll never move, kind of. I
Her
never,
grandma,
Schwartz, or no one.
yeah, Schwartz, she was Pegel Schwartz, Basil, lived alone, had a buggy, 1-horse buggy. She was one of those, well, she looked like a farm woman, you know, that had been weathered by the years, and lived out there in the country all alone. And that's where she had 2 families. She originally was hired as a maid to take care of the guy's wife that was dying or bedfast. And of course, when she passed away, by then she ended up marrying the guy she worked for and having some children by him.
Yeah, okay, that's,
So that was the Basil family that we always talk about.
and then the Schwartz family,
Yeah, that was
was
part
that Adolf Schwartz or somebody?
that was part of it, right? Schwartz,
Small.
well, I guess you would call him in today. He was part of the cavalryman in the armed forces in Germany,
Huh.
and in the Black Forest area. And he reported for duty, and nobody knows what happened.
Huh.
They don't know whether he was killed on duty, whether he left his wife and kids. They don't think he did, because he seemed to be a good family man. And then she sent over the oldest daughter. Well, first some of her relations came to America, and then when they were established, and they sent back, and they sent a girl here, probably about 11 years old, and she came to work. They earned enough money so that the rest of the family could come.
that house that they built out
600.
here.
Okay, they said what, 2 miles to the church? So, well, that's a big.
That's really something. Look at all those little pillars. I want to take a picture of that windmill.
Wow, that's a,
The windmill up there?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a strange house with that.
that sure is.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's not a house. Maybe it's
Yeah,
going to
it's
be a business. No, it's a
Picnic
house.
table outside.
Yeah,
Nursing
but
home.
It's just strange with,
Yeah.
Make that kind of money out in the country.
yeah,
Uh,
especially.
one place we stopped yesterday, well, yes, it was yesterday, the day before, anyway, the day before. She said her taxes on her was $200 an acre.
Oh my goodness.
Her hubby died and left
my
her with 80
goodness.
acres, and she had to sell off enough of it. And she's got 13 acres left and $200 an acre tax.
Wow. Let me see if I can get a
And
picture.
is that,
Let me
and
get
you
a
think
picture.
it's,
Lloyd,
cla-
stop.
you think it's classed agricultural?
I'm going to go.
Yes, they hit the farmers. That's all they got. There's not
Still
that much.
$200.
Yeah.
I'll knock.
Are you getting out to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to
There's-
just
There's
stand.
a car backing out somewhere. It I saw the
Yeah.
reflection. So
Yeah, it's
watch
over
it.
here.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Okay,
Did you
all right.
unlock?
I did.
Okay, good. I'll just step out for a second. I like windmills.
Go to the back of the car. I'm going to pull over here in case.
Okay.
He's like, that guy's like, what is going on?
We got
Yeah,
his
if he's
picture.
still out by the box and we go by, you can stop it for a minute and see what he's got to say.
Like I said, it's $50 for taking a picture.
Yeah.
Sharon's-
Chances are he
Sharon's-
planted those trees after I left. I guess he's going back.
He's
Yeah, no, I
looking-
think, yeah, maybe he will.
He doesn't like this very much.
No, he
No,
doesn't
he's
like
curious as to why anybody would want to take a picture.
Yeah.
He's like, what in the world?
Taking a picture of your windmill.
He was getting ready to go for his gun.
Yeah, I know. That's why I thought.
See that platform up there on by the blades?
Yep.
Raul used to love to climb up that high, and when the wind was blowing, and that thing would be going round and following around. And when he didn't want to be punished, why he wouldn't go that high. He'd only have to go halfway up.
Yeah.
No wonder he could paint
Yeah.
and climb up and
That's
clean
what-
the gutters and
You
stuff.
want to say hi to him? No.
No.
Okay.
That's what, when Murdoch was telling the story about the painting,
Yeah.
I thought, well, no wonder he's still
Yeah.
doing that at 70,
Or 80 years
or
old.
80, whatever, because it didn't bother him. And then it made me think of Grandma.
Yeah.
What,
me-
what was she doing the week before she had her stroke? Out painting her house or mowing
Hanging
her
out the
lawn?
third floor window.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
one that amazed me was when we went over and we couldn't find her. She'd taken the top off of that cistern and was down
yeah.
there cleaning that out. This is the Lutheran church. This is where the Bono family went. It was when the World War II, World War I, they ended up with a swastika anyway, some yellow paint on the outside,
Really?
anti-German, and they asked the Bono family to move out, not attend church there anymore, so they threw them out because they were German background. Oh, yeah, finally figured out where we're at. So, but to me, the thing that was amazing, there's no cemetery around the church. So when they wanted to bury somebody, they had to go 3 miles away to bury it. Of course, in my mind, I can picture the women walking with their kids, a few of them riding horses, maybe a drummer leading the gang, you know. And
Yeah.
no well where they. Is this
Go
it?
up close so we can see what it says on it.
straight ahead was that one cemetery then, Dad.
That's what we were.
Yeah, what's this one? Just, we're gonna go straight, Lloyd, too.
Yeah,
I know. I'm going to turn so you
Okay.
can look out the window if you want to.
I've never been in, and I don't think that was where.
Look at the windows, the stained glass windows that they have over.
They were having special services here, and Mom and Elizabeth went, and Elizabeth saw the light,
Ah,
and then, of course, I'm going to do the same as my sister, but Mom kept coming back with Elizabeth. Mom never did see the light here,
no.
but Elizabeth said she did.
Huh.
You done?
Yeah.
We'll probably do some.
Look at those.
Some crisscrossing here, but hopefully
There's a house for sale up here.
That's like the church in North Dakota where Chris's grandpa pastored.
Oh.
Just a small little church.
at the most somewhere
Well,
out in this field, and I don't know where anymore, but that's where Grandma Basil ended up living by herself. And I can remember going over there as a kid and visiting with her.
Huh.
Of course, Mom did. And then, of course, when Raul got his machine, you know, to find lost money and that, well,
Yeah.
that's one of the places he headed, but he didn't find it. That still belongs to the Basil family.
Oh.
And somehow or other, Grandpa, somewhere on that section of land, Grandpa Bono lived. And so when he wanted to court his future wife, well, all he had to do was walk across the field.
So Mom's
So that was
dad was a Basil. No, was a Bono.
Bono, and he
And
married.
his wife was a Basil.
Pretty spicy.
Mixed up. I don't think she was. I don't think she was. I know she wasn't a Peglo. I think she was Marie
Mary Schwartz? Yeah.
Peglo Schwartz. No, because I think Marty was the only two. You're sure that this is where this, yeah, I guess I better get my thoughts together. Anyway, we went clear out of this area here to pick up some of the kids that I took to Wahoo to go to high school.
Oh.
We got snowed in once, got as far as Ithaca, and they let us stay in the jail. Because Uncle Bones was in charge of the jail.
Huh.
They still had one of those two-wheel hand pumpers for water that you, instead of, to put out fires. And I know he told us, he said, I don't have any pillows. You each can have a blanket, but we got a couple of gallon coffee cans, and they make good pillows.
Huh.
We stayed there overnight.
Slowly.
It was
Slowly.
nice and warm.
Now were the roads a lot narrower,
They were.
smaller?
And weren't you saying you were surprised it was as hilly as it was?
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Because you hear that it's so flat.
Yeah.
People complain.
Well, you get over the other. You have to remember that anything east of Lincoln is normal. It's when you get west of Lincoln that it's God-forsaken country.
Okay, that's it.
And you,
When you
probably
get
there,
west
you
of
could
Lincoln,
probably
that's when it's
nearest neighbor
God-forsaken
might be
country.
5 miles
Okay.
away.
Yeah, these roads look tempting to run on. They do. I'm
Oh,
sure
look
you
at
would
that
think
old barn over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
family's pride and joy at one time when
Yeah.
we first built it. Probably a corn crib, and then you used to have to, they stored corn on each side of that drive-through. You'd have to scoop it off.
And the house was probably to the east, huh?
Looks like that was his watering tank out
Tank
here
over there.
by these trees.
Where did we stop that one time, Lloyd, where they, remember, and you hung Suzanne upside
Oh,
down
yeah.
to look in that well or whatever it was?
Yeah.
I wonder who's...
It was a whole cemented room down in the ground. And I mean, it was 10, 14 feet long and probably 8 feet wide. And had a opening probably...
How do you know what was down there? I was the one who hung upside
I know, but I
down.
looked, I was big enough where I could kind of get on my stomach and put my head down and look around in there.
But there was a house there. It was
Yeah.
somebody's house.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
Was Mom with us when we did that?
Yeah, I think so.
I think she
Grandma?
was. I thought she was.
Well, maybe not.
Maybe not.
I
But
thought
we
Aunt
were with
Marge.
somebody who knew
I
something.
thought it was mine. No, I think it
Were
was
we-
Grandma.
And
Were
we
we
went
just
into
alone?
a couple of the old houses,
Houses,
and
yeah.
one I remember being upstairs, and they had just pictures and left their pictures and everything.
Well, is that where we found that class ring? Were you with them when we went? Probably so. Look at this is an old
Why
house.
they would build that house high up on the hill without any trees like this around it,
Yeah.
unless they wanted to be prepared for Indian attacks. I don't remember that house, Jack.
No?
Oh, I probably was busy talking. Okay, I think
Was
that's
that
what-
was the road?
No,
that was
no,
the
we're
D?
doing
Okay.
fine.
It
Jack's
should
gonna
be
take
up
it-
here close.
He's going to take you to see an outhouse. Then we'll go back and I guess we'll backtrack a little bit and show you where Mom was born and where she was married, where Elizabeth
that
was
would be-
born and married. There's still people living there. The Basils own that. Barney was the one that we knew. Dad used to take Raul and I over there, and then all three of us would get a haircut, and then Dad would cut Barney's hair. Barney didn't have any sons. Well, he had one son, but the first child passed away. What else? That was also where Grandma and Elizabeth decided they would pull in
Look
your
at this
cemetery.
cemetery. Look at this.
But Grandma and Elizabeth, they
Stop.
decided they were going to move the hired man.
Oh, is that where?
Yeah. So you
Oh,
go
well,
up a
some-
little ahead and there's a
Pull in
driveway,
there,
pull
yeah.
in there.
Yeah,
gonna
I'm not.
take a
No,
picture.
I'm not going to take a picture.
So
Go
after
ahead.
we get up in there,
Pull in
then
it.
you decide whether you take a picture. But
But
I was
isn't
going to
that
have
something?
Jack post that on a computer
Oh, look
and
at
saying that was Raul's first school or something like that. But you can pull down and around it, and then we'll go back out.
You need to use the bathroom,
Yeah,
Suzanne?
right up ahead there, yeah.
Now, the only name that was familiar here on all these names was Halderman.
Halderman, yeah, I can see that.
But this had a urinal and with kind of had barrels half cut in half.
Wow. Kind of modern.
It's really neat, yeah.
Look
You
at
gotta
that.
get out and look at that.
Okay.
I should take a picture since I have that calendar of all different
Yeah.
outhouses.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. It has the urinal. That is really something. I don't
brown beer bottle.